Perfecting your brows is really easy using our brow dust. It's water and sweat resistant, so you don't have to worry about losing a brow halfway through the day. And it's a softer way of lifting up the brow, opening up that eye area, and of course filling in any of the gaps. Now, once you've perfected your brow with the brow dust, if you've still got some pesky grey hairs, or maybe you even have some blonde hairs that you'd like to colour coordinate a little bit better to the rest of the brow, simply use one of our brown waterproof mascaras and just gently comb it through the brow, and that will help get rid of any of those darker, stubborn, grey looking brows. So that's a little tip from me. Of course, if you've got really fair eyebrows, that's not going to work for you, but for some of us that have the greys that stand out, you could definitely opt for the waterproof mascara in the brown to help you in between maybe tinting them. All right, so all you'll need for this is your brow comb, an angle brush, and your brow dust that you have picked. Mine is the medium. The general rule is that you go with the same color as your hair if you can, but you can, if you're a lighter hair, go for a shade darker, and if you've got darker hair, you can even go for a shade lighter, just so it's not so stark and it looks a little bit more balanced. All right, now the other thing that you can do is definitely use a damp angled brush. These are purchased singularly, or they are in our brush sets. If you want a softer look, you can use them dry. If you want more of an intense shape, then you can dampen your angle brush with some water or spritz it with your rose water. Okay, brushing the brows first separates the hairs, so it allows your brow dust to get onto the skin more rather than just sticking to the hairs and falling off. So just get rid of any excess. If you're a little bit on the messy side of things, grab yourself a tissue and hold it underneath the eye so that it catches any fallout. Now, using the short end, I am just doing short little strokes up and out. And now I'm focusing underneath the brow. I'm not doing the body of the brow so much. And sweeping it out and up. So when you've got a wet brush or a damp brush, you tend not need to dip as much. If you've got a dry brush, you probably find that you're doing a little area and then dipping and then another little area. So now I'm just going to correct this arch. Okay, so that's just given a really beautiful, intense shape, and it's really given a little bit of a lift to my eye. If I increased this even more, just a little bit, you don't want to go too high, you need a little bit of hair in there. If you increase that a little bit more, it's just going to give even a further lift to the eyes. Now, where do you place the brows, especially if you're not happy with your existing shape? Here's some general tips that you can follow. If you're happy with the distance of your eyes, then I recommend using a handle of a brush, and that would be your starting point. So you use the corner of your nose here, or the edge of your nose, and that would be your starting point there, okay? If you feel that your eyes are further set, then you might want to, using this as a guide, bring this a little bit closer in. You don't want it to be so far away from your brows it's obvious, but you might be able to bring this brow dust a couple of hairs in and start, say, there. So the closer the brows are together, the eyes will look closer together. The further the brows apart, the further your eyes will look. And it also will change the shape or the illusion of the shape of the nose. So the further in the brows, the narrower the nose will look. The further out, the wider the tip of the nose will look. So brows are really good at correcting the eyes as well as the nose and of course your eyes. So that's your starting point explained. Where does your arch go? Use this part of your nose and a brush to go through the pupil, and right on this top bit here is where your arch can go. So again, it could be like a little paint by number while you're getting used to it. Do another dot there. So you've got your dot here, and then you've got your dot there. Obviously for me that's too far in, I'll correct that, but you at least just get the placement of where you want to start, your arch, and then your end. Now, with the edge of your brow, align it to the edge of your eye and your nose like this. And that's where your brow should finish. Any further down, it's going to create a droopy looking eye. Okay, so for most of us, we want to lift. So what we want to do is make sure that this brow dust doesn't finish lower than the edge of your eye. And especially as we get older, if you're finding that you're getting a little bit droopy, pluck a couple of the brows and finish it just maybe 1 or 2 hairs above the edge of your eye. So that's a little trick on creating. So you've not got this up and down look, you've got more of an up and out look like this. So you could definitely get away with plucking a couple of those brows. All right, so let's join those dots up with a damp brush. Don't put the brow dust where you don't need it. That's when it starts to look a little bit fake and intense. Just put it where you need to correct the shape, like I've just done here. I don't really need it there on the outer part of my eye. And I'm just going to place it in here and a little bit underneath to just sharpen up that brow. Now I'm going to just grab a cotton tip because of course for demonstration purposes I made that a little bit further in than I need. And there we have perfected brows. Now, if you pop the brush or the comb through it again, it just helps separate that brow dust, making it look really nice and hair-like. And if you're really paranoid about them looking too dark, maybe put too much on, or you really want to set them down, you can definitely dust it over with the Miracle Blur, which will mute it a little bit. I find that by itself it's completely fine. No other products are needed. So there you go.